Want to achieve network marketing success? Then you're in the right company. Hello, and welcome to Leave Nothing to Chance, hosted by networking marketing giant John Solider. Learn everything you need to know about the network marketing space from somebody who's actually done it. Join us every week for front row seats as we feature some of the finest and most successful personalities in network marketing. Leave nothing to chance. Join us now.
Well, this is going to be a fun interview because I don't know Dorothy Akau. I don't know that I've ever interviewed somebody who is as sweet a firecracker as you are. You exude energy. When Dorothy and I first met, just about a month ago now, Dorothy, maybe not even. Dorothy was a speaker at a convention that I was attending, and I immediately said, I got to interview this lady because her energy level is amazing. What she's doing in her personal business is phenomenal. She's got an incredible life story. So, Dorothy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's my privilege. And let's just get started. Let's talk about the direct selling world. How long have you been involved in the industry?
Oh, well, let's see. I've been involved in some direct sales at least 20 years.
20 years. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, at least 20 years.
And you've been doing something that a number of people I know in the direct selling world are doing. Not only to make additional income, but also to meet people. And that's that you've been doing Uber for how long now?
Oh, I've been doing Uber and Lyft for about 6 years on and off. But when 2020 um kind of left 2021, I kind of went full time because I retired out of my job at on my birthday, 2020 of January.
And what did you do before? I know you told me a little bit.
I work in procurement. I'm a material coordinator. Work with engineers, planners, welders, fitters. Work in the oil finding construction and even new construction with clean fuel.
Wow. Okay. And let's talk a little bit about single moms. Now, you were a single mom. I know you raised
Single
your
mom.
kids, and
Yes.
kids are grown now, I think.
I have a daughter. She's 35. She'll be 36 in this month.
Wow. Wow. How was it, as a single mom, some of the obstacles, because I think statistically there's 52, I might be off on my number. I think it's 52% of women in America today in Canada are single moms, whereas they're raising kids, they're working jobs, they're managing households, they're playing dad as well, they're running to the volleyball game or the concert, all of those things. How does a single mom, because you've done it successfully, you raised a great daughter, how do they overcome some of those things? How do they manage that time, I guess, to do all of those different hat wearing in the course of a day?
Wow. Um, you know what? A mom really never thinks about that. She just does it.
Mm.
She doesn't have an opportunity to think about that. All she knows is that she's got this tunnel vision that I've got to take care of my kid and my children, my household. How do I maintain that? Then I got to deal with these people at work. Job might not be too cool at times. It might be very stressful. Or, one of the things, as a mom, you work so many hours and you want to be there for your kids. And then you're trying to balance the emotions between your kids saying, hey, mom, what time are you coming home? Mom, are you picking me up today? I mean, you would not believe how many jobs I lost. Okay. How many projects I was on. And I said, hey, I got to pick up a kid. I got to go. Hey, there's only so much that a corporation wants to deal with that, But at the end of the day, prayer is a big thing for me. You have to trust in a place that you've never trusted before. We can go to church, we can do all these things, but part of you becomes this supernatural being that you're not even realizing. And sometimes you have these serendipity moments and you realize, oh, wow, how did that happen? Man, God, thanks for showing up for me today. And, you get better at it. It takes practice and balancing this time for your kid, balance this time for you, because at the end of the day, if you're not balanced right yourself, I don't care who's around. You can't give the job anything. You can't give the kids anything, and sometimes, there's many times that I definitely want to self-destruct, you know, it's not easy, But at the end of the day, when you look at that kid, you look at those grandchildren and stuff now, I mean, you look at why you're here and you say, I'm living because I want you to have what I didn't have. And you're
Mm,
trying to make sure that your children come up with all the tools they need to be in this chaotic world now is more chaotic than it was in the 80s when I had her.
mm,
I mean, and for me, I grew up in the foster home system at the 10th grade, graduated from the foster system and stayed with coaches and people in my life, and they saw me through. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, you got to find this thing that you're focusing on and what you want in your life. And you got to trust this higher power, which is for me, God, God is for me. And that's the only way that I can cope, because you've got family that could be not so well sometimes. You got friends that don't have your back sometimes. You got cousins, you got the job. Then who do you really have? You got that quiet place that you got to get quiet in, and you just go at it and just find things and reasons to be happy, because everybody disappoints you sometimes, and that's what it is.
mm. Wow. Great. Well, it's important. You just mentioned coaches. So whether we call them coaches, in athletics we call them coaches, of course, and in business we call them mentors. Same thing, right? Somebody that says, "Hey, you know what? I believe more in you maybe than you believe in you at this stage of your life or your career." How important have those coaches or mentors been to you?
Oh man, they meant everything to me. I think that they showed so much love to me in the time that they could. My high school coaches, my principal at my school, I mean, they just fed so much into me that they saw this kid wanting to make it in places. I mean, I was top 10 in my high school. I graduated from Compton High. I played volleyball, basketball, softball. I was in the drill team. I made homecoming queen. And I just loved being around school and being around my friends and the teachers. And even when I left, I became a high school lifeguard for my school. And I came back to talk to people at school, all the kids. I would come to my class, and my teachers would ask me, "Hey, Dorothy, can you come talk to the young kids today in class?" And I shared in my life because I've been where they've been. Sometimes you never know where people have been in their life. I mean, I have been in a place where I've been shot. I have grew up in the hardest neighborhoods in the area. I have been in foster system. I'm a single parent. I mean, you name it. I see what's going on out there. And I'm just so happy that, they always say that God won't give you more than you can handle, right? At the end of the day, I'm navigating through this sea of life and having these experiences. And now I know what I have. Now I have something to offer other people that might have been there, young adults, children, people who are holding on to trauma, these things. So I did all of this comes to being a single mom.
Mm,
You learn all this.
wow. I love your strength, I have to say. Your strength is just, you exude it. You're such a strong person, so inspirational to women and to men for that matter. Not only in network marketing is a business, let's face it. At the end of the day, it's a microcosm of the macrocosm of our lives, which is what you just described there. And it's great that you continue to inspire and lead people. And look, you easily, with all the circumstances you were given early in your life, you could have been a victim. You just could have said, "Oh well, it's everybody else's fault." How did you choose to say, "No, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to be me. I'm going to be successful, not only financially, but I'm going to raise a great kid. I'm going to be a great leader. I'm going to be an inspiration to other young people that follow in my path." How did you make that decision? Was it a defining moment? Was, like, I call that a Saul of Tarsus moment, right? Where, the lightning bolt hit you. Is there something like that? Or it just was it progressive over time that you just developed all of these skill sets to outgrow circumstance?
That's a nice in-depth question. I'm sitting here going, ooh, ooh, you know, I can honestly say that, we grew up poor when I was a little kid, right? And my mother told us one thing. She told us about this superpower God, right? I mean, I've been to so many different churches, whether it was Baptist, Seventh Day Adventist, Jehovah Witness. I mean, I've been there, right? And just having these examples and stuff like, okay, there's something good out here. It's supposed to be. I don't know what it is. But when we were little, we didn't know about a lot of stuff. We had fun playing. We played so much. So I think part of that was the dreaming and making mud pies and playing on Papa Willie's in the car and playing jacks and hopscotch. And, there's still a part of me that holds on to that little girl. And it's the little girl that drives me into wanting to be this dream of what I dreamt then, because then I didn't have any feelings of you can't have this, you can't do that, you can't do this. There were no adults saying you're not going to be this and you're not going to do this and you're bad. And all we did was go play. Can we go play? Okay, come in before the lights go out. Come in and that's what we did. Even nights that I didn't have anything to eat as a child. There are nights that I didn't eat. Okay. But we found top ramen, we found our neighbors and they wanted to cook and play house. And we were like, okay, I'll be the kid. Let's come on over. These are all these things that you hold on to and you look for the things in life that mean something to you. And that's what you look for. You drive for the dream to be in a beautiful house. My neighbors used to give me 2 horses to babysit. And I learned how to ride these horses. They said, you can ride these horses if you keep them clean out the stalls. And I would we're talking about 12 years old. I'm riding down the neighborhood on the street with a horse. I didn't realize until I got older how therapeutic that was for me. I mean, I'm listening to Andres Vollenweider in the 10th grade. Okay. And just those little things that I got to hold on to. So I can honestly say that there was a higher conscious in the spirit that was really guiding me, even though I was going through these traumas and these things. Deep down in my heart, there's a love that you just tap into, that you want to hold on to because it's there. It's shown itself to you. It's shown itself. And that is the drive that pushes me forward to continue wanting more. And don't get me wrong, man, let me tell you, I get my feelings hurt sometimes. Sometimes it might go over my head. I might be a little bit gullible because I've allowed you allow other people's selfish reasons to come in, but you forget that they're human too. Because our expectations, right, say that they're supposed to be, hey, you're supposed to do this way, but then you forget, you know what? My parents, where did they come from? How was they raised? Maybe they had maybe they can't give me something that they don't have. And I looked at those things. My parents they could only give me what they knew and how they were raised. I found out they were given away as children. I found that they were in foster systems too. I never knew to ask that, but it came on as time. And so you have to create the vision and the dream that you want for yourself. Right now, where I'm at, it's sunny. Somewhere else, there's a flood knocking down somebody's house. That is their reality. My reality is right here. I can't look at all these other realities that don't fit how I want to feel. So you got to go out there and you got to make your reality yours. Create your own. I mean, for me, I'm the creator of my own reality. How I feel is in here. No one else can take that from you. You have to be able to identify when someone's giving you a gift of fear, anger, worry, shame. You got to look at it and say, oh, that's not the gift I want. Because gifts come in all kind of packages. They come in all kind of packages. Some of them come with love and beauty. And that's what we're searching for. But we got to be able to identify, wait a minute, that right there don't feel good. I don't want none of that. Let me look over here. Click. And however that might happen, you might hurt some other people's feelings unknowingly. But for you, who comes first? You got to put you first. Because you can't do anything for your kids, your mama, your daddy, your family, whoever you've been raising, unless you put you first and get yourself into alignment. And then you can give to others. Until then, you got to look out for self. So it's not selfish. I'm looking for self, helping self.
Well, it leads me to my next question. Okay. Now let me do a fast commercial and it'll lead me to my next perfect question. Okay.
Okay.
So here's my fast commercial, because you met my wife, and she's French Canadian. I don't mess with her. She's the boss. So she says,
Ah,
make sure you plug your books, because we're going to talk about self-development next. Moving Up 2020 was one of my Amazon bestsellers that I wrote in 2019. And Dorothy, here's the funny thing. You and I didn't know each other then, but here's the funny part. I wrote this book so optimistic about 2020. And then a couple of months into 2020, we know what started happening in the world. But to keep that optimism, which is going to help me ask my next question. And of course, name of our show is Leaving Nothing to
leave
Chance.
nothing to chance.
Leave Nothing to Chance, which was a book I wrote with a colleague. And they both came out about the same time, interestingly enough. But they're both available on Amazon. They've been Amazon bestsellers. Got a lot of stories in them of a lot of network marketing people who overcome things like Dorothy has. So, Dorothy, let me ask this question. And you kind of referenced it already, but how important has self-development and the study of it been in your progression as a human being, as a leader in your network marketing business, as a leader, more importantly, in your family? How important has that been? Is there somebody specific that that you want to reference, perhaps in the self-development world? And feel free.
I remember sitting down one time and I was getting ready to go through this place of being displaced and homeless, right? And I had told myself, I said, I really want to see this journey. I mean, I could have probably moved with friends and family and things, but there was something pushing me into this being still by myself, right? And what ended up happening, I was starting to do a lot of meditation and I got into Reiki. And I had a point where I just felt like, there's sometimes I just cuss God out. I'm going to just tell you straight out. Who the hell are you? Why am I going through this? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you say what you say. Or was it that what I heard from other people that said this magnificent thing was going to happen? Or was it that I needed to sit down and ask, who are you? What are you? I need to know who you are, not hearsay. I don't need to hear from everybody else. And this is what helped me get to this next level. I got to that point where I was sitting in one place and I was listening to this YouTube channel one day. And I heard this guy, he was like, they were talking about angel numbers and stuff. And I heard this lady talking in the third person. And I was like, is she talking in the third person? Or am I tripping? And she was. Her name was Abraham Hicks. Okay. And so I started listening to this, and everything I heard, I said, I know that. I was playing this thing when I was in my sleep. It was playing. I was just sucking it up, sucking it up. And then finally I said, oh my gosh, they're going to be here in town. I'm going to this seminar. So I went to the seminar. I've been in the hot seat about 5 times. And I already know when I'm asking questions, that is going to be what the topic's going to be when I get to that meeting. And so that was my biggest inspiration, next to my mother, just introducing me to a higher power. Wow. That I just thought it was a super force, and I've never let it go. And as life kept going by and I kept having challenges and I kept having these serendipity moments, and then I started practicing how powerful I really am. I realized that listening to her, Joe Dispenza, Lipton, I listened to all of them. I started practicing, and my thing today is to master me. Mastering me allows me to do better with what's going on out here, because actually everything that is going on is past tense. So I'm looking at what I want in my now moment. And right now, just being here with you, I'm choosing to be happy right now. And whatever kind of way that I can share this love and this effect. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I never want to be on a pedestal. I have feelings that cause me to go through some pain when people disappoint me, especially when I care about them and I put them on a pedestal. And I try not to do that, because they can come down too. They can fall. So, and I don't want them to do me that way. So I try not to do them that way, so that I don't get disappointed. But at the end of the day, those are my inspirations to keep going. And now I'm on this journey of mastering me and seeing I can do that. I can have that, and I can have that, and I can have that too. Oh man, this is getting good. So that's where I'm at.
Love it. Love it. So let me ask you this. So let me give you a hypothetical question. Okay. I create these hypothetical questions
Mhm.
all the time. Sometimes they just come out of the air, and sometimes I actually write them down. But this one I've asked a number of other people that I've interviewed over the last couple of years. So
Mhm.
we've had a very strange time in the universe the last few years, right, with COVID and everything.
Oh
And
yeah.
prior to COVID, let's call it 2017, 18, 19. Let's say that this hypothetical family I'm going to give you, a now 25-year-old female and her 60-year-old mom, and they live down the street from you there in California. And up until COVID, they looked at people like you, people like me, people in network marketing, maybe with a little bit of pretense that somehow they were superior, that they didn't need our type of business, that they were doing well in corporate America. Let's say the 25-year-old girl now is college educated. She did the hard work. She started her business career. She was making good money. Everything was going great. And then we know what happened in about February 2020. Mom's on the other side of the equation. Mom was starting to say, hey, maybe time to start spending more time, building my garden or working on my golf game or spending time with the grandkids or at the beach or whatever. And all of a sudden, those retirement plans shifted because of what happened in 2020 and beyond. And there's still, let's face it, there's still ramifications of what happened in 2020, right? We're maybe through the
Right.
worst part of it, but there's still a lot of economic stuff that's happening as a result. So those two ladies, they look down the street today and they say, Dorothy's car is in the driveway. She's not out recruiting. She's not at the beach. She's home. You know what? Let's have some guts here. Let's go down the street, knock on her door, and say, why the network marketing industry here in 2023? Why should that young lady and that older lady, why should they look at our industry as an industry, not any respective company, but as an industry, as an opportunity? Why should they look at it today versus their prior notion about what our business was about?
One, because there's hope. I feel that when you look at an opportunity to make some funds instead of going to punch a clock for someone else, for a long time, I come into this corporate industry and I'm working and I'm looking at plans. I'm like, okay, they need to fix this here and this needs to be, and then I find ways to save money for the company, better ways to increase. I mean, I was in charge of investment recovery, so I mean, I'm selling out things, and I'm thinking, when you're so busy making money for everybody else, this pandemic here, 2020 allowed me to say, you know what? I'm going full head ahead. So there's a hungry person out there, hungry like me, that's saying, well, these people are going to pay for me to just sell this, and I can get more than one of these directs. Wait a minute. I'm already selling and saving other people money for their business. Why can't I do this investment for myself?
Mm.
And that's the thing. We have to decide to invest in ourselves. You've learned so much. What I've learned in the corporate industry was that you get to get insight to see how the mechanics are running. Being in corporate, being in different departments and different divisions, and learning all these different personalities. Well, that's your homework. That's your study ground for you to get out here and say, I'm doing this already. I'm scheduling. I'm out talking and promoting to different departments. Why can't I just do that for myself? Let someone cut me a check for myself and my own business. I'm putting the hours in. I mean, I was working 7 days a week. I'm putting in over 80 to 100 hours a week
Wow.
on a job, working double shift, night shift, sometimes day shift. You get burnt out. I mean, but I'm putting all this, and then when you look at the check, you're so busy hustling for that money that by the time you put it out, or you spend it, or you find ways to go enjoy it, but you don't even. Some people don't even save it, or don't have the right saving vehicle for it, and then you go back and you're stuck in this hamster wheel in the same job for the last 20, 30 years, and you look back and you say, dang, I ain't got nothing to show for this. And look at this pandemic. We need food. We can't go to work. The bills got to be paid. I can't pay my car note. My insurance is due. All these are the real situations. Who wouldn't want to be their own boss? But that's why I became an Uber driver. I said, you know what? At least I'm gonna get a check every day. Right now, if I need to pay a bill now, I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna get up here. I can see how much I'm gonna make. I can tune this thing out and make the right drives in the right neighborhoods at the right time with the right vehicle and be my own boss. So when this networking thing came into play, I said, oh wow, these people pay, and all I got to do is share this. Oh, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. And I can almost tell you what your next question is going to be, but I'm going to let you ask it.
Well, okay, so let's have some fun, okay? Because I know you live near the beach. I know
Yes,
we
I
were
do.
talking. We were talking the other day, and of course, I live in Texas, and I grew up near the beach, by the way, in New Jersey. So I'm very jealous when you were at the beach the other day and you were showing me the beach pictures. But so you're a beach girl. You love the beach, right? You grew up in California, Southern California, and I know your origins. I know Hawaiian origins. Another place with some pretty good beaches last I checked. So let's have a little fun for a minute, okay? How about life on your terms, right? How about the fact that our industry allows people, for the most part, once they work hard, I mean, not day one, obviously you got to do the work first, right? But at a point where you're at, where others are at, where life on your terms. Let's talk about that. The things you enjoy doing, some of your life experiences that you're now having because you've always worked hard at everything you've done, not just network marketing, but obviously in general business and everything else. And because most importantly, you worked hard on Dorothy. Your brand was Dorothy. You worked on Dorothy. You made Dorothy who you are and made you valuable in the corporate world and now more importantly in your own business. So let's talk about that beach girl concept of living life on your terms. How do people do that?
You have to be brave enough and you have to take what you want. You have to get out of your old programming, okay? And if you work so many hours on a job, you sometimes if someone says let's go take a vacation, you won't take a vacation. Oh, I don't know, I got to be at work. Oh, or you'll take a couple of days and won't take enough time. Or during the week, you won't um, give yourself quality time alone to just kind of, you know, bring everything to a special place where I'm always finding ways to be good to me. That might be going to a movie. It might be me just sitting still having a pedicure or a massage, right? And at the beach, I'm always being good to myself because dang, I really want a good meal today. And I go in this place like, ooh, that'd be good on the ocean. Let me go to the Newport Beach. They got this beautiful place out there called the Beach Comfort, right? And I'll go there and depending on if it's breakfast, I'll be there before they open the door. I
Mm.
drive my Uber car up. I'm in, I park, I go right there. I'm the first one in the door. They've got the heaters on. The ocean is right there. And at that moment, I'm like, wow, this is just so good. And then I just go into a space of, man, I'm so blessed to be right here in this moment from where I've been and the places that I've never, and times that I've never eaten. Here I am enjoying a meal. Do you know the first time I went there, right? I met this lady that worked there and I went down to the beach and I sat down and I had this when I was just in this moment like, wow, I'm so blessed to be alive today through all that I've been through. I'm alive today to still be able to share with my grandchildren, my daughter, my mom, my dad, everybody. And I'm eating this meal and I'm getting ready to pay for the bill. And the man says, oh, you don't have to pay for the bill. The gentleman who just left took care of it for you. And I'm like, oh, just bring these tears to my eyes. And I'm sitting here saying, wow, wow, that is amazing. And at that time, I'm sitting there saying, you are worthy. You deserve it. You're deserving to be here at this moment, enjoying this time, and look at the universe just opening up and showing you that you're worthy.
Wow.
You know, the tears that well up in me from it is from appreciation, from joy, and my vision just in networking alone is that how can I influence people that they have the same energy and power as me. We are the same, you know, but you gotta start loving on yourself. If you keep letting the world tune you to its frequency, and you don't get control of your own life and your and how you want to feel. It doesn't matter if you're network marketing, working for a job, being a husband, being a wife, being a mother. You're going to tune to all the chaos. And this is a very challenging thing for all of us as people to find the peace inside. That peace they talk about in these Bibles, that peace they talk about in these fellowship groups. You've got to just find those reasons to love on yourself, like me, and going fishing. I love fishing. Love going on the boat to fish. I love riding my bike. I got an electric bike. I love riding on my bike and feeling the ocean air in my face. And I love watching people when I'm driving out. I love driving at night when I'm by myself and
Hmm.
just being on the highway. It's almost like a form of meditation. And each Uber driver, Lyft driver knows what I mean when I'm saying that. You got your music. Sometimes I put my live on and let people come ride with me in the car. And we just drive. I say, look at this. Look at the beautiful stars tonight. Look at the moon. And then I park by the ocean on the cliff and I say, look at this beautiful sunset. These are things that make me feel happy. This is where I charge up. And I'm at the beach at least 3 times a week. I make
Hmm.
the time to go there. I live 10, 15 miles away. That's not far. Long as the car is running, I don't think about how much gas I got. I think about what I'm going to do when I get there, and I'm going to have a nice, fresh, hot tea, and I just be in my awe moment, in my zen moment. That's how I have fun.
Wow, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the beach, but I hear you loud and clear because you and I have talked off camera about things like earthing that you get to do in the ocean, and
Oh, big town, yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
it's so good, it's so good for you, and it just kind of makes you one with nature and all that. So let me say this, because we don't reference companies obviously on the show. Everything's generic for the industry because we have a lot of listeners from a lot of companies, but you've become the fastest growing singular distributorship in the company that you're in right now in the United States. Your company's international, of course, but in the United States, you are the fastest growing distributor. You've done that while you're still doing Uber. How have you used Uber to make some of the contacts that you've recruited into your business? Because there's a lot of people obviously that are doing Uber that just to pick up some extra money during the tight economy. They're doing it because they enjoy meeting people, etc. But how can they utilize that? You Uber, Lyft, some of these other ride services to make some good business contacts that are strangers when you pick them up that become friends by the time that they leave your car.
If you are a really good 5-star Uber Lyft driver, right? And that 5-star means a lot. I'm a 5-star and I know a couple of 5-star people. Okay. We have great conversations with people in our cars, right? And we might start our day off and get those peak hours and who we're talking to and where you pick them up also means, especially for me, I have a SUV, so I pick up 6 people at a time. I can pick up, and I
Hmm.
love picking up families, and I like picking up groups, right? And I hear all the stories, and to be honest, I've never had a bad drive.
Hmm.
Okay, and even if the drunk people get in my car, I'm just loving on them. I put a blanket or towel. I know they're not feeling good. I put them in the front seat with me. I kind of keep an eye on them, and and we have conversations. Hey, if you feel bad, let me know, and I'll pull over. You need the bag here, but if something happens, stuff happens, right? We're out there. These are the responsibilities that come with these Uber Lyft drivers. But because we care so much, right? And if you're a lucky passenger to get a person like me or other compassionate drivers, we make friends really quick. They want us to always pick them up to the point where they look, I'm going to be here every day. Can you pick me up and take me to the airport? Because I got to go to the airport 3 times a week and pick me up, and some of these conversations we have with them and we do that. We show up, get on, okay, hit me now, I'm here, right? And we show up and we just have these conversations. We make friends out of these people. And they call, are you busy today? I'm coming off the ship. Can you pick up my family? Well, I'm here, and I'll just show up over there, and then they hit me, and then boom, we're on the way, and we're making friends that way. So I find that being an Uber, Lyft driver, or just even if you're doing DoorDash or you're doing Instacart, right? These are all those industries. You're in your car, just putting your flyer out at the door and waiting for a hit. or just passing it to people. I talk to anybody. There's pretty much nobody I won't talk to. I don't care who it is. You could be a multi-billionaire gazillionaire. I'll talk to you. It doesn't matter. I'll just see you as a person. That's it. I don't care about what you got, what you don't have. I'll give my flyer to a homeless person. Okay. It don't matter. So being in that industry, I think that we have an advantage because we're out and we can see things a lot. We go to the biggest events that are around. Those are areas of opportunity to pass our flyer. And then when we go to these big holding areas where we have to wait for us to get a hit, it might be about, Los Angeles, there's an average of about 300 Uber Lyft drivers waiting in an area so we can get the people from the airport. We get those hits. Well, guess what? We're all talking to each other. And then there are cliques. We have our Armenian clique, and then we got our Chinese groups, and we got our Black groups, and they're like all friends. And then some of them together, and they're having little powwows out there while they're waiting for the ride or taking a break. These are opportunities to get those drivers because we're right there in those huddles with them, So I think for me, it allowed me to see this opportunity. And when I got a check, I was like, you know how many hours I had to drive to get that? I'm comparing notes. Well, darn, I get to take a break right now. Hey, I can stay home for about 4 hours, right? Or I don't have to work the day shift. So it started that way. I didn't have to work the day shift because I had already made so much money that would have covered that time. And I'm like, oh, this is going to get good. Maybe I can just not have to drive and not have to spend all this money on gas and my time out because it's changed. The industry has changed for us drivers. They're not really giving us the good money like they was. Now it's like, you got to really think twice. You're either going to take that ride and you got to put the miles, the cash, the time. Don't weigh out. Doesn't weigh out. So you got to be brave enough to say no. But if you say no, you might be waiting a long time for the next one. So this was also an encourager. Networking was better to say, I said, well, shoot, I'm talking to people now. Let me just build this pipeline of people to talk to and let me follow up. And lo and behold, I was just talking to people left and right, just talking to people. I mean, I even thought, I said, shoot, I haven't driven since December. I might go out, and it's coming close to summertime. Let me get to some of these special outdoor events and get my flyers and my books out and talk to people.
Well, I think one of the things that you're so good at is building instantaneous relationships with people because of your personality, obviously. But is there a certain thing you say without getting specific on your product or company? Is there a door opener perhaps that other Uber drivers or people, some of the other things you mentioned, Lyft and Instacart and some of these other things? Because a lot of folks doing these things on the side, at least, to pick up some extra money. But is there like that door opener that you say to me, hey, my name's Dorothy, what's your name? And I say John, and then you say, hey, John, have you ever, whatever, what would you say? Well, how do you get me to start responding?
You know what?
Talking about what you want to talk about.
So what I find that works well for me, and I say this because each one of us has to be a master of how we are, right? We know our personality. We know how we would like to be, and we know what we want to do. But I kind of look people out, and it doesn't take that long for me. I'm in the crowd. We might be in somewhere together, and I can almost hear what they're saying in their head. We might be in a line waiting to get food and wondering, why is this line so long? I might just spark a conversation. Man, I knew I should have came earlier. Wow, this line has been so long. So you look at the environment, look at the scenario, look at the situation first. That's going to give you your starting question. But, I never come out to somebody and say, hey, would you like to do this? And I have you ever heard about this before? I never do that. It's kind of corny. And it's kind of like, what do you want? You can see, well, the person doesn't think you're crazy. But, good example, I'm in an ice cream stand, right? And I notice the line is long. I mean, they have, what do you call it? Remember that ice cream out there, crafts or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost like Thrifty's ice cream.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm in line. The line's long. Sitting here with my grandchildren and everything, and I notice a elderly lady having a time standing up in her walker, and she's with her daughter, right? So in my mind, I'm like, ooh, she could just use this right away. I need to go get my brochure. And so I'll get my, if I don't already have it on me, I have my little brochure or something. And I say, hey, I noticed that have you been walking on that for a long time? And they said, and it just opens up the conversation and engage. And I said, wow, my dad had one just like that. Or I know a friend that had something like that. You got to go inside and remember something that can help you have something in common with this person.
Mm.
That's important to have something that you guys can kind of niche. You might have the same color shoes. Oh man, I got those Crocs. Man, I so comfortable, right? Where did you get all of your special the little stars in it? Right? We're sparking a conversation. Doesn't mean we're gonna this might just be a conversation that you need for you to just have the confidence to be out talking to someone. It might just start right there, not trying to sell them, not trying to bring them in your business, but just exercise just talking to people out in the world, you know? And it might, like I say, I like my white hats. It says, hey, where'd you get that white hat from? Oh man, I collect white hats,
Mm.
I enjoy wearing white. It's just a fresh color, you know. Find things like that to engage into the conversation. That's what I do. And then it just kind of, you can feel the friendliness. And you can tell when somebody doesn't want to be around you, like, whatever. But the number one thing that I incorporate with this is how I feel when I'm outside with these people.
Mm.
I want to be able to attract based on my energy. I'm feeling good. They can feel you. They can feel if you're going to have great energy. But if you're going to come in like, hi, you're going to come in all dull. You got something going on. You just had an argument with your partner at home. And you're going out thinking that you're getting ready to sell anybody. No, no, no. You're going to attract all the no's you do not want. No. But if you're happy, you're going to attract some good ones.
Absolutely. So here's my last question for you today, Dorothy. What are your future plans? I know you're a planner. I know you're goal oriented. What's the next, whatever, year, 2 years, 5 years looks like for you?
My biggest desire and plan here is with the information I have, with the products that I have been introduced to, is to bring wellness to every person that I come in contact with. I don't need to worry about the money because the company pays and they pay you right and they pay you well. I just want to focus on how many people they've been praying for some wellness, right? And they've been asking, and I believe that I have the best products in the world to help with that change. And I'm going to do it one by one, group by group, as fast as I can, every day. There's not a reason I'm not going to be out there sharing.
Great. And that's going to lead you to some remarkable, remarkable places, no doubt.
Yes. Yeah, I have goals for, you know, uh, I run a farm and I want to be able to grow hydroponic and I want to be able to have a dog park for families. I want to have a place where people want to bring their animals because they have to leave out of town and go on vacation and they can leave them at my place. And I want to bring able to bring people who maybe not have been as fortunate to have a big home and give them a home to even keep the property up. Give them a place where they can go to school and have more time with their family. I have a lot of big, big dreams that are actually, as I visualize and dream, I see them coming into play.
Well, I have no doubt that you're going to get there, my friend. And you truly are a sweet firecracker. I cannot think of a better term that sums up who Dorothy Akau is than a sweet
Thank
firecracker.
you.
Sweet, but tough when she needs to be. And I'm going to give you the last word. How would you inspire our audience to go out today, hearing our interview, and do something for themselves, for their community, for their company, for their organization? What would you inspire them with?
I would say, first of all, take some time alone. Spend some quality time by yourself between you and that force that woke you up this morning. Get in a quiet place. Go into a space of meditation. Shut your mind off. Close everything out. Nothing matters but just you and God. That's it. Come to a place where you can feel your vibration rising. You might even have some tears come out, because at that moment, you can feel that life force that woke you up this morning and told you that you were worthy to be here today. Now, what you decide to do with that worthiness is where you got to make the decision. Whether you want to spend it arguing with people, whether you want to spend it petting your dog, loving on your grandchildren, loving on yourself. Don't be a victim of what the world is offering. Be hope, be love, be joy. Find these things to invest your time in, and everything else is going to follow suit. And I'm going to tell you, it ain't the easiest of practice. You got to practice. Just because you got a new bike don't mean you know how to ride it. You might need to put some training wheels on it until you get comfortable with balancing. And that's what we're doing here. We're balancing life. We're balancing everything that was here before we even got here. But it doesn't mean that you have to allow those forces outside of you to dictate how you want to feel inside. You know, I don't know if I'm talking over anyone's head about this, but I just know the first thing you got to do is just really love on yourself. Because you can't love anybody else until you love you. Then everything else will unfold.
Very true. Very true. Well, Dorothy, this has been a privilege. It's been fun. It's been inspirational, and continued great success.
I thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Leave Nothing to Chance. If you want to know more about what it takes to succeed in the network marketing space, join us again next week for another amazing episode. For additional resources and to connect with John Solider, visit leavingnothingtochance.com. Don't forget to leave a review, and we'll see you next time.